Hello, good evening, Karen. How are you?
Sorry, my
Don't worry.
my uncle is yes, my uncle called me.
All right. So you were having a conversation with him, right?
How can I say Tia?
Aunt, your
Aunt.
aunt.
Yes, my aunt called me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Don't worry, Karen. You're always on time. Even you're always before I am here. All right. So don't worry. Okay. Sometimes I take also some extra time because I'm finishing the class with the other group, and that's why I take some extra minutes. But don't worry. All right. You're always here, Karen. So how are you? Is everything okay?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Great, that's great to know. I'm fine. I'm a little bit sick, but I'm fine, I think.
With
Yes.
flu? Flu? I flu? Yes.
Yes, I got a flu. Exactly. With flu. But just that one. I think it's just that one because it's kind of just passing. I took some medicine and I was taking lots of tea and I feel better. It's just now that I have some like those details about the flu with my nose, but everything is kind of fine. I think tomorrow I'm going to be like very well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
but how are you? Is everything? Yeah, tell me.
It's how can I say dolor de cabeza?
A headache?
Headache. Do you have headache?
No, actually, I don't. I don't. I thought that I was going to have fever as well, but fortunately, I don't have headaches. I don't have fever. It's just like a runny nose, and sometimes I feel tired. Only that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I'm
like
surviving.
it. Yes. Being sick is horrible. I don't like it. I
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
do nothing, anything.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you have to do many things, but you feel right like you're tired and you just want to either sleep or you just want to rest a little bit, right? But later I'm going to sleep, I'm going to take something, and tomorrow I'm going to be better, I think. I hope so.
Me too.
Thank you very much, Karen. So today we have to work with this one. If you remember, the last time we had the option of working with this one at the beginning or working with the speaking, we worked with the speaking, which was very good. It means that now we have to start, no, no, not the start. We have to review the simple past and the present perfect. And actually, we're going to take advantage, for example, of what happened to me to talk about past situations. But before talking about past, we're going to have a situation about past, Karen. You're going to ask me questions. I'm going to ask you questions. But first, let's remember what is the main, not the main difference. Let's not talk about the difference. In what situations do you use simple past, and in what situations do you use the present perfect, Karen?
Okay, we use the simple past in in a specific period of time in the past, and the present perfect. We also use it used in the past, but the time is not specific, and sometimes the action could be no, uh, the action doesn't finish in the present and maybe continue in the future.
Okay, that's good. That was a great explanation. Only one detail. Is the simple past better for periods of time in the past or for punctual actions in the past?
Uh, pun- Punctual action in the past.
Actions in the past, right? Exactly. Why? Because periods of time is better for the present perfect, right? For example, for the expressions for and since, right? You use for and since mostly with the present perfect. Good. The next one. What is the best option when you want to, mm, let's say, when you want to talk about number of times that something happened?
The present perfect.
Okay, very good. That is correct. What about the question, how how long? what is the structure that works better with how long?
Simple past.
Okay, let's analyze. When do you use how long? Do you use how long for punctual actions or for periods of time?
Mm, periods of time. Okay.
Correct, right? Exactly, because how long it means por cuánto tiempo, right? So it means a period of time. So if it's for periods of time, which one is better, the simple past or the present perfect?
The present perfect.
The present perfect, right? Good. Again, everything was good, only those details. So great. Simple past for punctual actions in the past that are definite, specific, right? We know when they happen. Perfect. And the present perfect for periods of time in the past that perhaps they are finished, but we don't know when they happened, or perhaps they are still happening, right? So they can be finished or unfinished, right? As you said. So very good. Also for a number of times that something happened, and very specifically right for again those periods of time. So know that one. We are just going to read this chart to understand more about these details, Karen, and we're going to try to work with a conversation. And after the conversation, we're going to have our first writing exercise. So let's read the first elements in the chart, please. Present perfect and past simple or simple past.
Okay, present perfect simple. Unfinished actions that started in the past and continue to the present. I have known Julie for 10 years and I still know her. Past simple finished actions. I knew Julie for 10 years, but then she moved away and we lost touch.
Very good. Only this word, please, Karen. Instead of u, it's going to be more like a. So it's going to be unfinished.
I always forget. Okay.
Okay, good. Very good. So let's repeat that word only one more time, please. Unfinished.
Unfinished.
Very good. So this is what you were saying, right? This is an action that can still happen in the present and perhaps even in the future. For example, this, right? I've known Julie for 10 years. It means that you still know her. And this is something that is still happening. So it's possible. But the past simple or the simple past is always going to be finished. Right? That's why you say, I knew. Something happened, that's why you don't have contact with her anymore. Let me know if you have questions about this first comparison, Karen.
Uh, Last touch is when we not talk or so frequently.
Yes, exactly. When you lose touch with someone, it means that you lost contact, that you have conversations anymore, that you don't send messages, that you don't have any type of contact. All right, that's the meaning of lost touch. Good. What else? Any other questions or things that you want to say about this part?
No.
Okay, good. Again, this is review, but we're going to see extra things as you're going to see later on. Let's go to the second element, please, Karen. Let's do the same.
Okay, a finished action in someone's life when the person is still alive, life experience. My brother has been to Mexico 3 times. A finished action in someone's life when the person is dead. My great grandmother went to Mexico 3 times.
Good. Now, this can be a little bit radical, all right? It's not the case every time, but yes, if you're going to talk about someone that's not longer alive, right? The best option is always the simple past. Why? Because you said that that happened and it's not possible that it's going to happen anymore. But if you use the present perfect, it means that this has happened before and perhaps it's going to happen more times, right? For example, these examples, right? My brother has been to Mexico 3 times and my great grandmother went to Mexico 3 times. This can happen again. This cannot happen again. That's the only difference. But if you have to choose, Karen, between the present perfect and the simple past for a number of times, this is always going to be the best option. Okay, the only exception is going to be if the person, of course, is dead, or if it cannot happen anymore and any time in the future. All right, just that one again. Let me know if you have any questions or observations or comments, Karen.
Teacher, what's the meaning of great grandmother? I know what's the word grandmother, but when it's with great and this palito, ese guioncito.
Yes, it means that there is a word also in Spanish, right? But you don't use the word. And for not giving you the translation, is like the mother of your grandmother. Okay, is the mother of your grandmother. If it's the mother of your grandmother, it's going to be your great grandmother.
Okay.
All right, so you only add that word if you add more mothers in the list. Okay, it's just that. What else?
I think only this.
Okay, good. So that's the second element. And again, look at this. We are always in the simple past, finished. It only changes the context. But in the present perfect, it can be unfinished, it can be finished. Okay, so it depends on the context. Let's take a look at the next one, please, Karen.
A finished action with a result in the present. I have lost my keys. The result is that I can get into my house now. A finished action with no result in the present. I lost my keys yesterday. It was terrible. Now there is no result. I got new keys yesterday. Yes.
Thank you, Karen. That was perfect. And yes, the corrections that you made to yourself were perfect. That's the way you pronounce that word. It was very good. Result, right? Result. Perfect. Good. So again, one more time. Both are finished actions, okay? Both are finished actions. What is the difference? That this finished action has a result in the present, right? I've lost my keys. It means it just happened. And I still don't have those keys. I don't know what to do, right? But the other example says, I lost my keys yesterday. It means that it happened in the past, and also the solution for that problem was found in the past. It means that you don't have problems with that anymore, right? It was solved, and that's it, right? So the first one has a connection with the present, but the second one doesn't. Again, it's what we know, but they are showing this in different contexts or scenarios. Again, let me know, please, if you have any questions, Karen.
No.
Let's go to the next one and the last one, please, so that we can go to our first exercise. Let's read that, please.
Okay, with an unfinished time work this week, this month, to today, I have seen John this week. With a finished time work last week, last month, yesterday, I saw John last week.
Good. And this is what we said, right? We said this in other words. We said specific or non-specific actions. It's the same. So you can say this week, this month, today, or you cannot use expressions with the present perfect. But if it's the simple past, you need those finished time words, or you can call it a specific time expressions. Last week, last month, yesterday, 2 years ago, 2 months ago, right? That's what we learned. This is only reinforcing that knowledge. So, but this is extra, right? We didn't see these expressions this week, this month, today. It means that with words that are related to the present, it's a better idea to use the present perfect instead of the simple past. Just that one again, Karen. And to go to the exercise, let me know if you have questions about this chart in general.
No.
Okay, very good. So this is what we're going to do. Look, sometimes in your stories, you can use both, all right? Both structures, connecting the ideas without anything that is forced. And I'm going to show you how. Okay, so for example, this is the document we're going to be using, the same. Here you have this one, right? So you're going to use that one once again, but you have to choose again the best word. You can say something like this. Last year, I went to France, let's say. I've been there twice. Okay, I've been there twice. It was the first time I went with my family. However, okay, this is the end of the example. However, I've traveled with them before. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm mixing the two tenses. Okay, and as you can see, I don't have any corrections. Why? Because I'm using the best expressions for those structures. In the first case, I'm saying last year, and I'm using that at the beginning, right? I told you, right? Don't be afraid. Don't say always, I went to France last year. There, you don't need comma, but again, it's up to you. Okay, it's up to you. As long as you use the comma when you need to use the comma, you can order that in the way you want. So because of last year, I'm saying here, when. Then I'm saying I've been, because I'm choosing to talk about number of times, right? So because of last year, I'm using went. Because of twice, I'm using I've been. Because of the first time went with my family, all right? Because of this expression that is specific, I'm using simple past with the verb to be. And finally, because of before that is non-specific, I'm using I've traveled and not only traveled. All right, so following that logic, Karen, again, if you have questions about these connections, you can let me know. But this is what you have to try to do. You did it before. Down below, you were using the expressions for ability, right? But this time it's going to be one more time only about past. But I'm going to ask you, it's not going to be simple past, present perfect, simple past, present perfect. No, it can be in the order that you want, Karen. But try to use the best expressions for the simple past and the best expressions for the present perfect. And again, you can start with a word like this, last year, or you can start telling your story with one of these words, to commence, for example. All right, and try to play with the words that you have here and with the found voice that you know, right? And for so I'm going to add some of those words over here. Yet, so those are the most important ones. And sorry, not so. You have so already. You can say or. But that's it. You're going to write one paragraph again in which you tell me something in the past, but you try to mix simple past with present perfect, with expressions for the simple past, with expressions for the present perfect, and connecting the ideas with these words or using the correct punctuation at least. I don't know if you have any questions about that or anything. Let me know, please.
Teacher, in the part when you write, I have been not there twice. I also write, I have been 3 weeks.
If you say 3 weeks, that's specific, but you can say for 3 weeks. If you say for 3 weeks, it's going to be correct. But
Yes.
it's different, right? It's different if you say, I've been there 3 weeks. It's not clear, so you have to say for 3 weeks period of time, or
Mhm.
3 weeks ago. That's simple past, right? So it depends if you say for or ago. If you want to use I've been, you have to say for, okay, for
Okay.
3 weeks. Or the other option, you can say since 3 weeks ago. That's also the present perfect. All right. Anything else? Let me know, please, Kat.
No, only.
All right. So I'm sharing this one. I think I did it, right? It's in the chat. No, if I no, I didn't actually. So in the chat, you have the link over there. Go to the link, please. It's the same we worked on the last class. And the same logic, Karen. We're going to have 6 minutes, a minimum of 6 complete ideas, or try to write as much as you can. Mix simple past with present perfect. Use the expressions for simple past and present perfect. I'm going to show you that here. Okay, I'm going to show you this chart. If you are seeing my screen, these are the expressions that you can use with present perfect, and these are the expressions that you can use with simple past. All right. Any questions or anything before starting? Let me know, please.
No.
Okay, let's do it then. 6 minutes and we check.
Okay.
Okay, so we're with the 6 minutes. Let's see what you've done, and we're going to add information in case we need it, or we're going to finish writing that together. Okay, so let's take a look at what you got, Karen. I'm going over there, and there you are. So let's read everything you wrote, please.
Okay. When I was 15 years old, I traveled to USA. USA.
It's going to be USA, but in
Yes.
that one, the mistake is this one. There's a rule that says that always with all plural countries, you always use the article the, okay? The, the, right? The USA, always.
Okay.
All right, so keep going, please.
Okay. With my cousin. I have never been there, but when I meet the country, I really like it. We have stayed for 3 weeks and we visited many places like Disneyland. Also, we went into cruiser. I don't know if it's correct, but okay. When we have traveled, traveled in the cruiser since we left the Disneyland. I don't know.
Okay, all right, so we're going to finish that one. Let's check every detail up to that part and we finish together, all right? Overall, I think, again, it's good. We're going to see the details, only details. Here is going to be the, all right, to the USA. It's always going to be with that, okay? So I'm going to try to mark those with both the details we have to remember. And I have been there. But when I met the country, remember it's going to be met for past, comma, after when, right? Remember if when is at the middle, at the beginning, when at the beginning, when at the beginning, because this is a new idea, so it's the beginning. When I met the country, comma, I really liked it. Here, I have stayed, you can say there, all right. Here they want to say we stayed there for 3 weeks because you can use both. If this is finished, you can do it. But they also want to correct this one because in the next part you are using a simple past. All right. Usually it's better if you use the same tense in the whole idea, in the whole complete idea. For example, here it can be, we have stayed there for 3 weeks and we have visited, perhaps over here, many places like Disneyland. If you do that, again, you're going to use this one. Again, we're not going to pay attention to that one because we are using something indefinite like Disneyland. All right. Also, we went Here, what do you mean by this one? You want to say like a crucero or something like that?
Sí.
All right. So look, sometimes they only call it like a ship, okay, a cruise ship. You can also call it a cruiser. It's not bad, but you're going to use that one with again the article. All right. So it's valid to say that one or only ship. Okay. So also we went into the cruiser or the ship. We have traveled in that, as always, with I over here. Since we left, and here you need to mention the place, right? So it's going to be since we left the country, you were saying Disneyland, right?
Oh,
Disneyland. Or what do you want to add there?
Miami. I think that
Okay,
Disneyland is in Miami.
okay, sorry, Miami. All right, good. It works great because you are talking about the beginning of the period of time, but we don't know how much time it took. Okay, so here again, you have options. You are not mentioning anything in specific, but actually this is being corrected because you have a specific time in which it happened, right? We know that it was when you were 15 years old. Perhaps that's why they want to correct that one. But just in this idea, you're not mentioning anything in specific, so I wouldn't say that that's incorrect. All right, so it's working good. That's my only correction over there, Karen. Let me know, please, if you have any questions. I'm going to again mark the corrections over here. You're going to let me know. So, what questions or comments do you have about these commas or about those words or these expressions?
Uh, the word cruiser
Uh-huh.
in the last word is gone er with ear, and the first only has er.
Ah, sorry. Yes, no, I added this one because it was like that. All right, I added that one, but no,
Uh,
it has to be with this one as well. Yes, sorry, no, it has to be that.
okay.
Okay, good. Yes, it was my mistake. Good. So, any questions or other comments? Perhaps I didn't notice other details. Let me know, please, Gary.
No.
Okay, good. So let's analyze more. And more than analyzing this idea, we're going to try to expand more and try to have a conversation uses these tenses. All right, simple past and present perfect. We're going to try to use now more of these expressions. Here we have just. Just is when something happened recently, right? And you know that one. For example, if I ask you, Gary, what is something that you have just done? What is something that you have just done, Gary?
Uh, just done. I I have just done my homework.
Good. And something that happened in the last, let's say, 10 minutes. What is something that you have just done in the last 10 minutes, very recently?
I have just done.
Huh? And remember that you don't need to use necessarily the word done, right? You can use
Okay.
any verb in the past participle.
I I have just finished my writing.
Okay, correct. Very good. I have just finished my writing exercise, could be, or writing my paragraph. Okay, good. Very good. Yet, you know that one, right? Negative. What is something that you haven't done yet, Karen, in any time that you haven't done yet, but you wish that you do?
Eh, I I have I can use the negative way in the present perfect with yet.
Yes, actually, you have to do it. If you don't use yet with the negative, it's going to be weird. You have to use it with negative.
I have not been in Brazil yet.
Good. And remember, there is one very weird rule. It doesn't have an explanation, but with the present perfect, when you're going to mention a place after been, it's better if you use to instead of in. Okay, so you're going to say, I have not been to Brazil yet. Okay, good. And why? Why do you want to be there? Why do you want to go to Brazil? That's a present question, right? Like a reason.
Because I don't know. I think that I don't have someone to, how can I say, acompañarme?
Join me, to join me.
Enjoy me. And my mother doesn't let me go alone.
So the condition is that you need at least one person to join you, right? To go.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I hope it happens soon. Yes, because it's going to be, I think, a good experience for you, right? Great. That's great. Now, the next one, never. Very similar to yet, right? Very similar to yet, but instead of negative sentence, you have to use never in an affirmative sentence. What is something that you have never done?
I have never jumped of a plane. I don't know how to say paracaidismo.
Yes, that's parachuting. Parachuting. Okay, parachuting, like with CH. Okay, parachuting. I'm writing that. Okay, good. So the preposition that you're going to use is better if you say from. I've never jumped from a plane. Good. Okay. So that's also interesting, and that's something also you wish you can do, right? Good. What about already? Already means that you did it, right? But in the present perfect. So what is something that you have already done that someone is not expecting? Okay, something that you already done and people don't expect that from you.
I have clean a mountain twice already.
That's interesting. Good. Just the verb one more time, please. How do you say trepar o escalar? The verb is good, but I think it's the pronunciation only. How do you say trepar o escalar?
This is a clean. Is with ed or
It is with ed. Only the pronunciation is going to be more like I. Climbed. Exactly. Good. Very good. So you have climbed, right, a mountain twice already. Very good. Or remember that is better if you use already in the middle between the auxiliary and the verb. So how would it be? The example one more time, please, using already in the middle of those two words, the auxiliary have and the verb climbed.
I have already climbed a mountain twice.
Okay. All right. Exactly. I have already is the best place for already. Ever. Remember, ever is for a question, right? We're just practicing and reviewing this, Karen. What question can you ask me with ever, Karen? And a question, remember, that means alguna vez en tu vida. So what do you say? What question can you ask?
Have you ever gone to La Paz?
Yes, I have. In fact, I've been many times in La Paz. Good, great. So that's with ever. Perfect. What about so far? So far means up to this point, right? Up to this period of time. For example, right, you can say, uh, I've I've finished 3 books so far from the 5 that I have to read. Okay, so far up to this point. It can be a sentence or a question. So what example can you give me with so far?
Mm, Can you explain again the word so far? The this,
Yes, of course.
please. Thank you.
It means up to this point, right? If I ask you, for example, Karen, what have you, no, better, how many books, how many books have you read so far? Okay, it means since you are alive, since you were born, up to this date. Okay, that's the meaning of so far, up to today. Okay, until today. If you want to say that in other words, it's not correct if you say until today. It's a little bit weird, but it's like the similar translation. Okay, until today. So what example can you say using so far? And it always go at the end.
Mm, I I I have had 5 cats so far.
Yes, it means that in your entire life, up to this point, up to this day of your life, you have had a total of 5 cats, right? That's information that you're giving me, correct? Okay, good. So that's it. Great. It means up to this point. If you say anything with so far, it means in my entire life up to this date. Okay, so you can say, I've learned 3 languages so far. I've studied 1 career so far. I've been to Brazil 5 times so far. Okay, it means up to this point. Good. The next one actually is the synonym. Okay, it's a synonym. Up to now. Okay, so you can say so far, or the one down below is exactly the same, Karen. Up to now. So give me one more thing, please, Karen, and this time use up to now.
This comes to the end, like so.
Exactly. It also goes at the end of your idea.
Okay. Eh, ah, mm, I I have mm, practiced practiced uh, taekwondo up to now.
Okay, but I think something is missing there because it is correct. I have practiced taekwondo, right, up to now. So it's good. The information is correct and is good, but try to mention perhaps the approximate time that you practiced taekwondo up to now. So how much time have you practiced that martial art up to now?
Okay, I have practiced taekwondo, since. I can say since.
Since. You can, because this is the present perfect, so you can mix since, and then you can say up.
Since I also use past simple or
After, sorry, yeah, okay, good. So sometimes it gets frozen. Yes, you can use after since, you can use the simple past because since is only given the beginning of that period of time.
since if I say since I was 10 years old up to now, it's okay.
Yes, if you say that one, it's going to be good. Again, perhaps it's going to be too specific, but you are only saying that it happened up to now, but you're not saying that it finished, right? That's the difference. The difference is that you cannot say something like that with the simple past because in the simple past is a finished action. But in this example that you're telling me is something that happened and started in the past. You're telling me the beginning of that action, and you're telling me up to now, but you're not telling me that it finished. Okay, so you can say that after since, Karen, you can use any expression, even if it's specific. Remember that you can say since yesterday, right? Since yesterday, since last week, since a month ago, since 2020, since I was a child, since I was younger. All right. And then you say up to now. And up to now is not connected directly. It's just an expression that is telling me that today you are still perhaps doing that. All right. So one more time, please.
With up to now.
Exactly the same example that you gave me to have that clear.
I give you other or the same?
No, the same example, please.
I have practiced taekwondo. No, how can I pronunciate taekwondo? Taekwondo.
Sorry, it depends. I pronounce it the way it's in English, but that's a Korean word, right? So if you know the Korean pronunciation, you can use the Korean pronunciation. I only know the English one, so it's taekwondo. All right, taekwondo.
Okay, taekwondo. Since I was young, it's better.
It can be any expression after since is valid, Karen. So if you say since I was 10 years old, it's also good. It's
Okay.
also good.
Since I was 10 years old up to now.
Up to now, okay. Good, it's correct. I don't know if you have any questions so far, Karen. We're just practicing the expressions that we can use with the present perfect. Of course, you feel weird in the last example because it's better to use only one of these expressions, right? It's better if you use only since, or it's better if you only use up to now. But you can mix, all right? You can mix both cases. What about the next one? If you have questions, let me know. But in the meantime, the next example is going to be with recently, Karen. And recently has the same meaning as just, right? Just recently. It means that it just happened. So, what is something that you have done recently?
I have eaten. No, I have had dinner recently.
Yes, that is correct. Usually, again, and this is the difference. The example is correct, but the main difference between just and recently is going to be that just is something that could have happened minutes ago. Okay, for example, you say, I have just had dinner in your example. Okay, and that's the best option. Recently has the same meaning as just, but usually recently talks about something in general that happened during these days. All right. So for example, it can be, I have just taken the quiz. It means it happened, perhaps today, some hours ago, perhaps yesterday, perhaps 2 days ago. All right. But again, the meaning is the same, but recently is more common for these days. And just can be used for minutes ago. It's more natural to use it in that way. All right. Just to clarify. And the last two examples, you know how to use them, but let's practice them as well, please, Karen. Since. One example using since, please.
Eh, I I have had a pet since I was 9 years old.
Exactly. Very good. Correct. What about the next one? For.
For mm, I well, I have been I can say for many times.
You can mention how many times you did something with for. It depends how you form your idea.
Okay, I have been in Cochabamba for many times.
But either you have to add something. If you say after for, and actually, I thought that you were going to use that differently. Okay, so you can say, for example, I have been twice right there for 2 hours or 5 hours or something like that. But you can say it's better actually if you mention a number of something that you were there or directly the many times before. But actually, if I'm as I'm thinking, you cannot use after for, okay, after for, because it's going to be weird. You need a number after for, either if it's one or two, okay, but you need a number. If you use a number of times after for, it's not going to be correct because you don't need to use for a number of times, okay? You say directly the number of times. I have been there or in Cochabamba or to Cochabamba twice or 3 times, right? But you don't need to say for. But you can say, I have been there twice for 2 hours approximately. Okay, so you can say that you were in a place 2 times for a certain period of time. Okay, that's the only way in which you have to mix those ideas, Karen. So what do you say?
Mm, okay, I have been in Cochabamba. Uh, I can say I have been in Cochabamba many times and then use for.
If you want to clarify that one, you can. Again, it's not common, but you can say, remember two, right? You're going to say, I have been or I have gone to Cochabamba or I have been to Cochabamba twice or 3 times for one day approximately. Okay, so you're going to tell me that you were there twice, 2 times, and that those 2 times you were only in that place for one day. Okay, so it's to give extra clarification. So it's possible, it's not common, but it's possible to do it.
But when I try to say that I I have been in a place for many times, I don't remember the number. How can I say? Oh, how can I
Just that one.
sense?
You- don't use a preposition. You say directly, I have been to Cochabamba many times, but just many times. Okay, you don't need to say for many times or anything else. All right, you only use for when you want to mention a period of time. It can be minutes, hours, days, months, years, okay? But it has to be a period of time. but number of times is not a period of time. That's why you only say then the period of, sorry, the number of times without any preposition. Okay, so I have been to Cochabamba twice. I have been to Cochabamba many times. Or you can even say that one, right? I have been to Cochabamba many times that I don't remember. Or there you can use so many times that I don't remember. Okay, so many times that I don't remember. But for that one again, you don't need to use for with many times.
But after many times, I can say for, I don't know, 5 or 6 days.
You can, and that's going to be clarification again. It's possible, but it's only going to be clarification.
Okay, okay, okay.
All right, good. So let's give now the full example. How would it be the complete sentence using the idea that you have, Karen?
Okay, I have been to Cochabamba so many times for 5 or 6 days.
Exactly, good. Now you get that idea, right? At the beginning you say there were many times, and in the second part you're only clarifying that all those many times you were most of them for 5 or 6 days. All right, it means that all those times you were there for that period of time. All right, I don't know if that's clear now or if you have questions about that one.
No. Other example with for.
With for in periods of time, you only use a number plus a time reference. You only say, for example, and I'm going to use the same example with all the possibilities. You only say, I've been to Santa Cruz for 1 day, for 2 hours, for 3 months, for 3 years, for 1 week, for 5 minutes. Okay, that's what you use after for when you use period of time. If you use with something else, the meaning is going to be different. Okay, but if you want to use for with present perfect, you need a number plus a time reference that goes from seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, etc. Okay, that's the only thing that you have to use after for if you want to use it with the present perfect. All right.
Okay.
Okay, good. And again, for number of times, you don't need expressions. You mention directly the number of times, right? The same example. I've been to Santa Cruz twice, once, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, many times, right? You don't need a preposition. You say directly the number of times that you've been there. And the same for the other examples, you don't need any other preposition. But that's it. If you have questions about any of those expressions for the present perfect, let me know, please, Karen.
No.
Okay. In the simple past, we're not going to practice this one because we know we practiced that before. You know that with the simple past, you can use yesterday, the day before yesterday, last week, last month, 2 years ago, 1 month ago, or the specific date, right? In 2012 and so on and so forth. Perhaps I'm just going to try to use 2 questions here related to any of those examples. One question is going to be something, and you can make up something if you don't remember, all right? What did you do? Tell me 2 important things, okay? 2 important things for you, okay? For you that you did in 2020, right? It was the pandemic, right? It was the daily quarantine lockdown. So what is, or what are 2 important things that you did in 2020?
Um, 2020. I finished my, let's see, how can I say thesis?
It's okay, good. It's the same. You only, the pronunciation is different and with an H, okay? T-H-E. So it's going to be thesis, thesis. All right, just in case, again, it's in the chat, but as you can see, the same, just with the H in the middle. Okay, so that's one, right? That's one. You finished your thesis. And what else?
I I need to answer in only simple past.
In this case, yes, because you're saying already that it happened in 2020, right? So as this is specific, it has to be in the simple past.
Okay. I I passed a lot of time with my family.
Very good. Great. That's perfect, right? And again, you're using in both cases that one, Karen, because we are saying that it happened in 2020, right? So it means that it's not non-specific, it's specific. So good. You finished your thesis and you passed time with your family in 2020, right? So that's perfect. Good. The next one, very similar to that one. Again, it has to be specific. So what are two activities that you used to do? Okay, what are two activities that you used to do when you were, let's say, perhaps you don't remember, okay, when you were 15 years old?
I played tennis and also practiced taekwondo.
Very good. Only one correction over there because they are great. But as you have the expression used to, right? Used to is already in past, and that's simple past. It's better to talk about habits to use used to. Okay, so it's better if you say, I used to play tennis and this other action. So play is going to be the base form. The only expression that is going to be in past is used to. All right, that again is in the chat, that it means have it in past, right? Like solía. Okay, that's the meaning of used to, solía. So one more time, what did you used to do? What did you used to do when you were 15 years old? Two activities at least.
Okay. I used to play tennis and practice taekwondo.
Correct, taekwondo. Good, great. Okay, so as you can see, those are simple past questions because in one of them you have year, right, 2020, and in the other one you have a period of time, or actually a moment of the time that is very specific, which was 15 years old, right? Whenever you have any of those expressions, you need simple past. So to me, that's it for practicing. I don't know if you have questions or doubts about this lesson, because that's it. That was only reviewing something that you practiced before with me. Let me know, please, if you have questions or comments to finish with the past, Karen.
No, but I have a question, but it's not about the simple past and present perfect.
Okay, good. So we finished this one. Then let me know, what is your question about so that we can go also to the next part. Let me know, Karen.
It's about the future.
Yes.
I will study and I read this sentence. I can write. I don't know if I can say it right.
Oh, okay. Do you want to write your example? Now,
Yes.
do it, please. Do it. We're going to check. Yes, you can do it in the chat or in the document as well. Any of those.
In the document, better.
Good. So do it. Let me know when you finish, please. We check that one, and then we see how it's working.
Okay.
So let's take a look. So read your example. That's going to help me also.
Okay, I will take you to the movies if you like.
Good. Now, all in all, I only see one detail here. Okay, and it's if, after if. There's one rule for the conditionals, okay? This is called present conditional, and this is called the present real conditional. The structure for the present real conditional is future if present, okay? Or it can be future with be going to if present. It means that we cannot use actually a modal after if, okay? Also, you cannot use future after if, okay? There are certain rules for that one. So my only correction here would be if you like, okay? If you like or if you want. That's the only thing. Because here with conditionals, if you use if, it doesn't matter if you use will, it doesn't matter if you use be going to, it's going to be okay. Because remember, in fact, will and be going to are future. You know that you can use will with predictions without evidence for future facts, for requests, for petitions, and so on and so forth, right? In this case, you're only saying that. And if you want to put that in one category, this can be like a promise. Okay, it's like, I promise I will take you to the movies if you like. Okay, so in one way or another, this sentence is correct. The only mistake again is to use a modal after if. Okay, that's the only observation. I don't know if you have questions about that, Kenny.
I read this sentence in a website. I am practice. I search more information. So I read this sentence and I didn't understand why we have if you and this apostrophe and the word the.
Okay, you know that D is a contraction for many things, many things, informal and informal English. In informal English, no, actually, no, not informal. Informal English could be the contraction for I would like, right? I would like to go. So instead of that one, you're going to say, I'd like to go, right? So that's a contraction for the D. So here they were using that one, but it's not correct because again, if you're using, at least in grammar, okay, in grammar, if you use future, then if, then you use the next part. The second part always, all right, it has to be in the present, okay, in the present form. So you can say, you imagine that you are a mother, right, and your son is asking you for request, and you say, okay, you will go to the party, okay, you will go to the party if you finish your homework, all right, if you finish your homework. It's not going to be if you would finish your homework or if you will finish your homework, okay, that's incorrect. It's always going to be with a present, simple present. It can be simple present with to be or simple present with other verbs. Okay, but again, you can use that one, but in a different situation. I'm going to give you a different conditional, Karen. And it's going to be you, all right, you would be better if you changed the way you are, let's say. Okay, this is just one example that I'm making up. So this is another type of conditional, Karen, and this is called the present and real. In the present and real, instead of will, you use would, and instead of simple present, you use past simple, okay, or simple past. So here you can use would, and in this part, if you want, you can use the contraction that you saw, and you can say that one. Okay, you'd be better, it means you would be better if you changed the way you are. In Spanish, it means tú serías mejor, right? Si tú cambiaras o cambiases tu forma de ser. This is simple past, but the translation is not simple past. Okay, the translation is conditional in present. All right, just that one. That's something extra. You're going to learn that one. Perhaps you know it, but I'm showing you that you can use that apostrophe, but it has to be in the correct place and in the correct formula. All right, I'm just showing you that one. I don't know if you have questions about that, Karen.
No.
Good. So look, that's it up to that part. We're going to go now to the next one. That is going to be very simple possession. Okay, possessive pronouns. What do you remember about possessive pronouns first to start, Karen? Let me know, please.
It's like mine, her, him. I don't know. I listen.
Sorry, sorry. Yes, I said yes, that's correct. Those are possessive, but not pronouns, adjectives, right? If you say his, her, my, right? Those are possessive adjectives. For example, that is my car. That is your brother. She is her sister. That's good, possessive adjectives. But what is a possessive pronoun? It's actually similar to that one. Very similar. Sometimes you add only one letter or you change something. What do you say?
I don't know.
Or perhaps you mentioned that one. I think you mentioned one, but I'm not sure if you said my or the other word. For example, how do you say eso es mío?
This is mine.
How do you spell mine?
N E N A. No. How can I spell E?
I.
I N E. It's like a E.
E. Exactly, correct. M-I-N-E. Right? Okay, good. And again, I think you mentioned, if you mentioned that before, and I said no, then it was my mistake, okay? I thought it was mine. But mine is a possessive pronoun. Her is not a possessive pronoun. But what is the possessive pronoun of her? How do you say again? How do you say the same example? Eso es de ella. How do you say that?
Oh, this is. I don't know.
Let's try to work little by little. And actually, that's what we have to review here. How do you say ese es su lápiz, but de ella? How do you say that? Only that.
This is her pencil.
Correct. This is her pencil. Now, from that one, have that in mind. Say the same, but you don't have to say the word pencil. And you only need to add something to the word that you're using. So one more time. And try to remember, perhaps you know, if you know mine, perhaps you know that one. How do you say, eso es de ella? Hablando de lápiz, pero sin mencionar el lápiz. How do you say that?
This is. I don't know.
It's okay. All right. It means that we have to practice that one. And this is what we're going to do now. All right. There's one way to say something without mentioning the object. Okay. And that's actually possessive pronouns. You know one, mine. Mine is the possessive pronoun of my, right? So instead of saying, Karen, that is my pencil, you only say, that is mine. You have the same structure for the other words. And here are some examples. Let's read these examples, please.
That is my pencil. That is mine. That is her laptop. It is hers. Those are your shoes. Those are yours.
Good. So what do you see here? What words are the possessive pronouns in these examples?
Mine, hers, and yours.
Exactly. Good. Why are we using hers and why are we using yours in these
Teacher, I can
and
hear you.
actually, and why do we get for each? Sorry, this time it was my connection. I think I received the message that it's unstable. Can you hear me now?
Now, yes.
Okay, so I was asking you, why are we using these possessive pronouns in these three examples? Mine, hers, yours. What is the explanation?
Mm, we why we use?
Exactly. Why do we use them?
I think that because we we don't want to say pencil or the whole word.
Exactly. That's correct. When you already mention the word and you want to be effective, right? And you only want to mention that it is your possession or someone else's possession, you use this. You're going to see examples in which you mention the object, but never after this word, right? It's incorrect if you say, that is mine pencil or
Mm,
hers laptop, right? It's never going to be the case. But yes, you can find the object before this word, and you're going to see that in the next example. So let's go to the next part. These are the possessives that we know, but let's review them, please, Karen, and let's read everything that we have here.
okay. Ad, adjective pronouns go next to the object that is someone's possession. This is my car. My possessive adjective. Car, object, possession. That dog heart is paw. Paw. The possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, or their, its.
Thank you. So this is something that we know, right? You know how to use these possessive adjectives. This is not the topic for this lesson, but this is important to understand the possessive pronouns. All right. Now, first, let me know if you have any questions about this because we're only going to write two examples and it can be tricky. But let me know, please, if you have any questions first.
Teacher, what's the meaning of its paw?
Paw, the
Paw.
paw is this part of a dog, right? So here, to me, this is my hand, but this is the paw of an animal. Okay, so an animal, how many paws does an animal or does a dog have?
Four.
Four. Those are the paws. All right. It's, what is its? If you analyze here, what is its? It's the possessive form of for it. Okay, the possessive form for it. It means that if you're going to mention an object, an animal, an idea, a building, or something like that, the possession is not going to be with his, her, or something like that. It's going to be with its, right? So that dog hurt past its paw, okay? Because paw is a part of the dog and it's possession of the dog. right? I don't know if it's clear. Let me know, please, Karen.
But why we can use his or her? It's depending if the dog is she or he.
For animals, it's possible now. In grammar before, it was better, and it's better now even, Karen. If you talk about animals, it doesn't matter if the gender of the animal, all right? In grammar, they say it's better to use its. If it's an animal, but it's your decision, you can say his or her. All right. If it's your dog, if it's a cat, and if you have a connection, a good connection with that animal, it's possible to use his or her. But if you're
Oh,
talking, for example, about a lion, okay, imagine a lion in Africa. You don't know the lion, you don't know anything about the lion, you don't know the sex of the lion, right? Anything about that animal, it means that there, the best option is not his, is not her, it's going to be its. Okay, so it depends of the connection, but if it's not an animal and if it's an object, the only option is its. But it depends if it's one object, singular. If it's more than one object, it's not going to be its, right? You have the possessive for plural, that is this one over here, there. And there is not only for people, it's also for objects when it's plural. Okay, and actually, this is the examples that I was going to ask you, and I'm going to ask you only two. If it's clear, let me know. If you have questions, again, let me know, but let's write two examples, please. Go to the file, Karen, and write two examples with objects, okay, not people. I want you to give me examples with objects or animals or ideas or anything that is not a person. One example with their for objects, and one example with its and objects. And again, it can be animals, places, ideas, etc. All right, do you have any questions about that?
no.
Okay, let's do it, please. 2 minutes, we check. If you finish before, let me know. All right, so it's the 2 minutes. Let's check how it's going. And again, if you have some details, we're going to check them. Again, it can be tricky sometimes to write examples for objects and using their and its. All right, it's not common. Only when you want to give details about those things, inanimated things. But and remember, the examples I see that they are good, but remember that first we're only talking about possessive adjectives. it means that you need to mention the object. Okay,
Yes.
not theirs yet, right? Not theirs yet. What can you add? You only need to add something. What can you add
I don't know how
after
to
that?
write hojas.
Leaves, leaves, like the past of left. Sorry, the simple form of left, leave, right? Leave. But I'm going to write it there for you. All right, leave. All right, they are leaves. And what about the other one? Good. So the trees fall, they are leaves. Or you can say the leaves are falling from the trees. Yes, they are leaves. It's better if you say then that at the beginning, because the tree doesn't do that actively, right? It's not that the tree is falling something, right? It's that the leaves are falling down from trees, right? So it's better if you say their leaves, sorry, are falling down from the trees. All right. And again, we use that idea because it's not happening actively, right? It's a passive action that is happening. The leaves are falling down from the trees. All right, that one. I don't know if you have any questions about these changes and suggestions in the first podcast.
No.
Okay, what about the next one? What can you add in the next example?
Pelaje.
Fur. The fur is like this. Okay, fur. Now, let's check the idea. This is an action that always happens, Karen, or it's happening now.
It's happening now. Well,
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
It's smelling. No, I don't know.
It's okay. If it's happening now, it has to be present continuous, right? Is smelling. If you're telling me a routine, it has to be simple present. But remember that simple present is always going to be with S.
Yes.
But I think also it goes better if it's something that is happening now. So it's smelling would be interesting over there. Okay, so it depends on the idea that you want to give me, guys. So good. I think it's working good. I don't know if you have any questions now about this example.
No.
All right, good. Now, the last part, because we're not going to practice this one yet, we're going to take a look at only this explanation. Let's read this one to finish today, please. Okay.
Possessive pronouns replace the object. Possession, that is mine, this is hers, it is theirs. The possessive pronouns are mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs, its.
Good, very good. To finish the question, what are the possessive pronouns that don't change, that are the same as the possessive adjectives?
His.
That's one, his. And there's one more.
Yours, its.
It's. Because if you take a look here, it's. Okay, it's. So his and its are the only ones that don't change. Okay, so you say his car, but you can say his without any object. You can say its with object, or you can say its without object. Okay, but the only two, the rest of them change, right? Mine changes kind of a lot. Yours only S, hers only S, ours only S, theirs only S. That one. Now, your examples. What can you do? What is the only thing that you do in your examples to change those adjective or possessive adjectives to a possessive pronouns?
Hmm. Uh, it's theirs are falling down.
You can use theirs as subject. It's correct. If you say theirs are falling down, that's more than enough. I imagine that you're talking about trees. I imagine that you're talking about the leaves that fall down from trees. What about the last one?
It's without far.
Exactly. And how can you say something? You can add an extra question or an extra sentence after this sentence, Karen. What sentence can you add in order only to use its? Because in the first part, we know that it's fur. What else can you say about the fur in the next part as a new sentence, Karen, but only using its?
Mm, I use. Ah, okay. Um, the cats have its.
One more time, please.
The cat, or the cat has its.
But in that case, it's not going to be that reference to the cat or the possession, right? Only talk about the possession and one characteristic of that possession. All right. How do you say el suyo, right? El suyo, it means el pelaje de tu mascota or from that cat, right? El suyo es suave. How do you say that?
It's soft.
Uh-huh. It's soft, but there is missing something. How do you say the verb to be? Because if you only say it's soft, it's like it's, then soft, but you don't have a verb.
It's, I don't know. It's.
Imagine that it's only the subject. Imagine that it's is like Pedro.
Ah, okay. It's soft.
Exactly. It's weird,
Ah,
but it functions like that. Okay, it's not a verb. Okay, it's that's why if you analyze the name of the possessive, it's pronoun, right? Do you remember the pronouns? I, we, you, they. Those are pronouns. Okay, it means if they are possessive pronouns, we can use them as object pronouns, as in these examples, or you can use them as subject pronouns, like here. Mine is great. Okay, it is soft. All right, so you can write those examples. It means that you can use these pronouns, Karen, as objects after the verb or as subjects at the beginning of your idea. All right, that's something again we're going to take a look, not today,
Teacher,
but in the
wait
next
one
class.
minute, please.
Yes,
Por favor.
go ahead.
Hola. ¿Ya? Estaba en la baranda. Okay, teacher.
All right, don't worry. So actually, no, we're just closing that one, right? It's 9:25. We're just about to finish. I'm just showing you what we're going to do on Friday. All right, so on Friday, we're going to see that we can use these with objects, but the object has to be mentioned before. We're going to see that we can use them with of. All right, that is a very interesting expression. For example, a friend of mine, right? Or I don't know if you heard Guns N' Roses. There's a song that is "Sweet Child of Mine." Okay, so it's like a way of talking about possession, right? And then for exceptions, you have these questions. you can mention the object, but before the word. Is that pencil hers? And using them for as subjects, as I was telling you, hers are over there. And finally, the question whose, that is a question only for possession. Okay, so that's what we're going to be practicing on Friday. But to do that, everything that we saw today has to be clear. So what do you say, Karen? Do you have any questions or comments up to this part?
No.
No, really?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's finish here, please. As always, tomorrow we have the conversation. We didn't have the conversation the last 2 conversation days, Karen, but we're going to have that conversation tomorrow. All right, don't forget to book that conversation with me. We're going to continue working on what we were doing on last Tuesday. All right, but that's it. As always, please let's fill out today's survey. It's over there. Let me know when you do it, please.
Okay. Okay.
Good. Thank you very much. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
You too. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.